Welcome, fifth grade, to another Gizmo recording for the science skills for this week, guys. Last week we were working on weight and mass, and this week I wanted us to continue that idea, but exploring the idea of the measurement of mass using a triple beam balance. This is a very common and useful tool in a science lab. But it is a way for us to measure the mass without having to use a balance where you're going to put the weights on one side of the balance and the object on the other. This one is using the idea of a fulcrum and a lever. You'll put your objects up here on this little platter, and then you will slide these riders over to change the amount of weight. Mass, that is going to be counterbalanced by whatever the object is over here on the side. You have three different riders down here. You have the 100-gram riders, 100, 200, 300. 10-gram riders, 10, 20, 30, 40. And 1-gram riders, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. Now you'll notice that when you get into the 1-gram riders, you have these little tick marks, and they give you a magnified view of this over here because each one of these marks represents 1/10 of 1 gram. So in other words, from 0 we have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, which is 1/2 of a gram, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and then 1 gram. And then we go into 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all the way up to 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.2. You get the idea there. Okay, this is the way we can measure these different objects. Now, the first thing I want you to do is they're going to ask you to put this up to 300 grams, and then they want you to drag some materials up here, some objects, and see if they are more or less than 300 grams. So if I put the paper clip up there, not sure how I lost my gizmo. Get back up here. Okay, so if I put these at 300 and I take the paper clips up here, I'm going to see that's not more than 300 grams. And yet if I take the cone up here, it is more than 300 grams, okay, because this little marker goes up. We're trying to line up the mark on this pointer with that line right in the center of our indicator there. So you're going to be playing with this a little bit. I'm just going to try one just to kind of show you the way this would work. I'm going to put the cube up here because that is more than 300 grams. Now the way for me to check this out is to start off and I say, well, is it more than 100? 200, yes. 300, 400, 500. So I would move this back one mark to 400 and then start adding 10 grams at a time. So I know it's somewhere between 400 and 500 grams. Now I add 10, 20, and we can see up here that my mark is getting closer. 30. Oh, that is right on the money, or pretty close it looks like. If I wanted to double check, I could take it back up here to 20 and then go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Oh, now we're starting to see it is not exactly 430 grams, but instead it is 429.3. You see where there are 3 ticks beyond the 9. So that is 3/10 of 1 gram, 429.3 grams. Now I think that actually gives you one of your answers. but that is absolutely fine. I'm just going to kind of lead you through one of those possible activities that is in your Gizmo student exploration sheet. Now, I will include that student exploration sheet. This is a somewhat short gizmo for you this week, guys. I will have a Microsoft quiz to complete once you have done this gizmo. But I do want you to play around with this a little bit. You can even put two different. You could check and say, well, once I have come up with what is the mass of the light bulb, and what is the mass of the paper clips, right? And then I could say, well, let me see if those two numbers add up when I put the light bulb and the paper clips, or when I put the light bulb and the cone, or the paper clips and the cone. You know, are my numbers adding up? Are my numbers adding up? So I encourage you to just play with this a little bit to see how precise you can be in measuring the mass of these objects, because that is the point of a triple beam balance, is to get precise measurements of mass by moving these sliders either 100 grams at a time, 10 grams at a time, 1 gram at a time, or even tenths of a gram at a time. So play around with this a little bit, guys, and follow your student exploration sheet. Once you are done with all of the activities in there, then complete that Microsoft quiz, and we will discuss this next week. Thanks very much. Hope you are having a great week, and email me if you have questions.